Like every week, we're going to look at 10 images I found in the community feed, and we will look what prompts the designer used to create the images. Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you will enjoy this video. So what I do every week is I go into the community feed. You will find it in a MidJourney account. If you are here in home and click on Explore, you can sort by hot, new, or top here. And I just researched some of the images and put it into my bookmarks and also marked them. And these are the 10 images as you see on my screen that I want to take a deeper look together. And these are all images that used quite extensive, most of them use a quite extensive image prompt. And I want to go over each image with you and go over the image prompt and see why the image is actually created like that. So as you see here, this is actually a beautiful image with a landscape, so to say, or a garden which is glowing. And if you look here, this is the creator, and always below the image in the community feed, you will find the image prompt. So the image prompt used in this was colorful, I can't pronounce that, bio whatever, plants in forest, crystals and glowing path, fireflies, and so on. So you can see here he used this image prompt to create this image. And we will take another look if there is any other image prompts for us that are important. This is a general description and gives you a good idea if you want to generate the same kind of image. You can just copy the image prompt like I showed you in the last video. You can just go up here, copy. You could say full command, and let's do that just for a second to show you. Just go into MidJourney. You can just copy it into just imagine image prompt, then just copy it out and remove the characters that you don't need. So in this case, it copied some of the things you don't need. Also, this I would suggest to remove till here and then just send it. And it will take a little while, as we know already, to generate the images. We can come back later to this. I want to take a closer look at the image and maybe we find some other image prompts that are really cool to use. The second image of this week, I picked this bottle here. I really liked the sky or the stars here, the Milky Way, basically, as you see inside of this bottle. And you see a lot of artists doing that, putting something into a bottle. I really like it. So this is actually a very small image prompt. He just used Milky Way in a glass bottle, 4K, which is the quality, Unreal Engine, Octane render. And if you go deeper again, you will see there are even nicer versions of it. So I really like this one with the stars and the mountains there. Or also I found this one pretty nice here. There's even one with a Christmas trees, so to say, inside, or this one. I will just click on it. And again, if you want to use that, we can just click here and copy. And you can copy just the prompt, then just exit. Again, the community feed, go ahead, type in imagine, copy it in, make sure you don't have the URL like that, and just send it, and it will generate your own little Milky Way glass bottle. This is really great. And you can put into the bottle whatever you want. Of course, you can modify it. You can even change the aspect ratios and so on. You can feel free to modify it, whatever you want to have inside of the glass bottle. And you see, today it's pretty fast and it's already generating the bottle. I'm not sure if we will have a bottle or just a part of the bottle. Maybe we need to change the aspect ratio if it's not rendering the whole bottle, but in this case it's not that important. It's just for testing purposes. And you see it was just cut off by MidJourney, and we have 4 nice bottles with a Milky Way inside and stars and so on. So I really like that. And image number 3, I don't really like that too much, but I want to show you as many different styles as possible. And I pretty liked the 3D or the plastic figure style. And it's here extremely cute Pippi Langstrumpf figure designed by Studio whatever. But important is that you are able to create figures like that. So if you look down here, maybe we just take this figure of the boy. It looks pretty good, I would say. And figure design. So let's just try if we can, for example, copy this prompt and then just create a figure, a different figure. And as you go down here, if you go over, it's always just the command figure design, or of course there's the style inside with Pokemon and so on. But in this case, it seems that actually the figure command generates this kind of images. So if I go into here, I go imagine, copy in. So I have here the art studio, then I have figure design, toy, and Krieger models, Pokemon figure, and so on. But what I would try is I just show you what comes out here, but then I will just go in and copy in the same prompt. Let's try cat figure, and just remove the Pokemon figure here. Let's just try cat figure design toy. Let's see what comes out if you have the same style. And if you look at this, it's pretty funny what we generated here. So it's clearly the same style, so it's a pretty nice style. And I want to remember you how you can, for example, if you like this one, so if you like the first one specifically, you could just click on V1 and make some more versions of this. And if you want to make it bigger, you would just click on version 1 to get it bigger. Actually, it's the other way around. You would upscale it with the U1 and make versions with the V1. And here, look what we created here. I think this is pretty good. So by just putting in like the cat figure designer toy, we created this 4 cats. I think they're pretty cute and we did a pretty good job. This image is pretty similar, but it is like you could use it in a children's book. This is why I wanted to look at its settings. So this creator here used this image prompt to create this smiling little girl. Realistic magic forest, Emilia. You can see brown, blonde hair, Disney Pixar cartoon style. So you can use cartoon styles. Full body. This is important to get not just the face of your character, full shot, beautiful, perfect, symmetrical face, magical atmosphere, fairy forest details, Disney Studio cartoon, high details 8K. So this created this image that you could use for a children's book. So it's very easy to generate images for a children's book these days. This also looks pretty good. Let's have a closer look at that. Pixar dancing, funky arms, full body, 4 years old. This looks really great. So if you want to copy that, I go ahead and copy it, copy the image prompt and go back. Let's see what we can create. I will just go into my channel and copy it in again, imagine. So always if there is links in the image commands, it seems there is an image behind it, of course. So this was actually the image the creator used as basis to modify the character. And this we have here in our image prompt as well. We can also try it without actually the image to see what is different. So now what the creator did, he used this image that we just looked at, so the image of this girl, and modified it with these commands. A volumetric, Pixar dancing, funky, and so on. 4 years old, so he modified it a little to keep it in the way that it is, and it looks like that. If we would use it without the image source, we can see how it would look like. So I would just type in the exactly same image prompt, but I would remove the image here. And you will see the outcome is probably very different because the characters will probably look very different because there's no reference anymore. And MidJourney has much more freedom now to generate the character in whatever way it wants to generate it. But let's have a look. In my opinion, till now, it still looks very much the same. Probably not 100% the same, but let's give it some more seconds and it's already rendering, and we will see what the outcome is and if there's really such a big difference. I would say it's not such a big difference. Actually, I like these characters even more. This looks very cute. This girl, this also looks really nice, I would say. So in this case, you see it didn't make too much of a difference if we used the image as a reference or not. I also really liked this image. You see here the image prompt, retro product photo, year 2000, and this girl holding a Nintendo Game Boy, advanced low-rise jeans, sequence, loose blues, trendy hairstyle, typical teen. And you see here all the other versions or similar versions that have been created, but I really like this version. It has some unique 80s touch, I would say. So I want to try this out, how it looks like if we use it on our own image prompt. What is really coming out? How different will it be? So this is what came out, and it's, I mean, yeah, it's interesting versions of it. So with this image, we also see something very interesting in the image prompt. As you notice here, you see these columns, these double columns, and you can prioritize or separate things actually using that. This is quite advanced, but I want to go over to MidJourney and show it to you. So this is called multi-prompt basic, and you could adding a double colon to a prompt indicates to MidJourney bot that it should be considered each part of the prompt separately. So this is easy to understand. If you look at this, hot dog is this. This is a hot semicolon semicolon dog. So it's separated like this. You could also do that with the cupcake illustration, cupcake illustration, cupcake and illustration separated. You could also use this. So first of all, you do use it for separation. You can also use that hot to dog, hot dog. So the hot is prioritized here, as you see. The hot has more priority than the dog. So you can use it to increase stuff. Weights are normalized. Hot dog is the same as hot one dog. Hot dog 1, hot 2, dog 2, hot. This is all the same. So, but if you want to prioritize it, you just give it a higher number. And this is very clear if we look at this picture. Vibrant tulip fields. If you look at that, there's pretty much red in here, as you see. And to solve that, you could use something like tulips and then semicolon, colon, colon, red, colon, colon, minus 0.5. It's the same as you could use tulips 2 and red minus 1, or tulips 200, red minus 100, and then you have results like that. So you can use these columns here to generate or modify the images. And he used it here, for example, make sure that things are prioritized. So for example, he prioritized the typical teen, the trendy hairstyle, and so on. So let's wait and see what comes out with this image generation here, where we didn't use the image link as reference, and see if it's really different than the other ones. So as you see, it is already creating. Now this is the version where we didn't use any image link as reference, and it looks to me very different. Till now, it's just 93%. Now it's ready. So if you click on it, it's also interesting versions, but it is very different. You see also you have sometimes now even the Nintendo in the hand, or you have very different positions, and you can avoid that by having a reference image using to make sure that you have the position or the image style that you prefer. Now we're looking at this photo shoot here. So this is like a photo shoot of an old Asian woman, and it seems by Issey Mikaki whatever that means. Probably a famous photographer. Wind, sunrise, light green, jungle. And you see the photo is pretty good. The faces are also pretty good. Sometimes MidJourney has problems, have the faces in a good way. And look down here. This is always nice to see. I really like this lady with the sunglasses down here. And let's look at the image prompt. But again, this is a very easy image prompt. You just copy it out and use it in your image generation. Also, you see here some more ladies. Just use it in your work. Let's look at the next one. I also liked this tree because if you look in detail at the tree, you see here he combined, I think it's solar panels. Here you see like the leaves made from woven micro solar panels, hyper detail. So I really like the combination of that. And if you go further down, it's even nicer versions of these bonsai trees that you can generate using this image prompt. Or you can just use, for example, I really like this one, where a square image, he used like just a square image and tree of the future, tiny leaves, snow green, yellow brown. So you see it's very easy image prompts that you can use. From the next video on, I will make sure I link all the images and all the prompts on my website, and you will be able to easily find these images and copy the prompts, so you don't have to run around and look on MidJourney. This one I also really liked, and I also liked the other versions because this is, the image prompt is actually not much here. Dreadlocked, Pocahontas, this is all they used, but if you look at the image generation down here, I really find it fascinating what images actually have been created here. And whatever image you want to create, you can again just click on it and see the image prompt. You see all the details here in the face. I really like that. And feel free to use the image prompt, modify it a little, and maybe even use it on your own images. You can blend it over to your own images as you remember. So you would just take this image, for example, that I showed you. Let's say you want to blend over yourself with this image. You will just save this image, for example, to your hard drive. I can do that for a second if you want to. Then you would go in here to MidJourney. You would not use the image command, you'd use the blend command because this is now much easier. You will pick this person here, and then you will search for image of yourself. Let's see if I find something that we can use. Let's say this lady is me. It keeps on jumping down. Let's just use this one so it's easier, and I will just upload it, and it will now blend these two images together. So if the one is an image you are on and the other one is an image you want to create, it will just blend together the images, and it will blend together the images, and we will see what the outcome will be. Whatever the outcome is, you can further customize it, of course. So let's have a look at the outcome. I think it's pretty good. As you remember, it was the two images, one the Indian, so the Pocahontas, and one this lady from the poster. So I think the results are pretty good, and you can do that with your own images. And let's look at the dog. And this is also a pretty simple thing to do. I'm not sure if in this image prompt he uploaded an image of the dog, but we will see if we copy the image prompt. And you see here there's a lot of cute ones. So the question is, did he just use this image prompt here saying realistic photo? We can just try it. Let's just copy this prompt, and we just go back to our image prompt. Just put in the image prompt, copy it in, and as soon as you don't see any image link, it was created just by text. And basically he used here in the glacial pine forest, and the key here is the dachshund puppy which is like the breath of the dog. And he explains very nicely here what he wants to see in the image. And let's see what actually comes out on our image. It's important that MidJourney recognizes what kind of dog it should be, and that you describe everything in very detail so MidJourney can pull out whatever you want. So you see, it's pretty okay. I would say the results are not as good as we have seen in the pictures. So actually, to achieve what we have seen, I would recommend to go on the internet, find an image of a dog and use this image of the dog. Or even go ahead and, for example, I would, in this case, if you're not able to achieve the results that you would like to achieve, you just go back. And I would recommend you go back into the community feed. You go back to the image we just talked about. So for example, this one. And I would click on it and save it to your hard drive. Just save the image. And then we will go and use the same image prompt again. So I would go in here, use the same image prompt again. But now I would first upload the image to MidJourney. So I go ahead here, upload this dog to MidJourney. So I have it now as reference image. And now I will imagine, copy in what I have already, but now go and say copy media link and put in the media link here in front as a reference image. And then I will send the reference image and the description and the image prompt, so to say, into the MidJourney bot. And you will see the results will be very different and should be actually much higher quality. If you look at this, oftentimes with animals, the problem is the paws. You look at the feet, for example, here. Look at the feet. It looks pretty horrible here, and also sometimes the faces. And this looks pretty almost painted. We could also, of course, use photorealistic or other prompts, but let's wait what the results are on this one. I think it already looks much better. Let's have a look. Yes, you see it is much better. The dog is a little strange, I would say, so the eyes and so on. So we still need to work on it, but we are much closer on what we wanted to achieve. The last image I want to look at for this week is actually this image. So for this image, I really liked how it is done from the camera angle and from the lighting. And if you look here, what he has done, you can see everything in the image description. But what I like even more, and if you go on here, you will see that there are other versions of that. But what I wanted to show you is if you go below the images, you have different versions and they're even much nicer. And if I go on this one, you will see that they're actually done with a lot less description. So there's a lot to learn on them. I really like this, for example. And what did they use? A modern fantasy city. So here is soft light, ultra HD, HDR, 8K, cinematic blender render, Zootopia, dramatic lighting studio, voxel illustration phase, 85 millimeter, volumetric light, ray tracing reflection. So there's a lot of stuff you can use yourself if you look at the images and just implement it in your images. So I hope that was useful. Remember to subscribe, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye. See you. All the best.